Yo, what's good, Houston Texans fans? It's your boy Wise Citizen, a member of the Houston Salt Sports Roundtable, and I'm glad that you're here to join the video today. As you know, the Houston Texans season is over. We're not making to the playoffs. We're not competing in the AFC South. We only got one win this season in a tie. We're playing the New York Football Giants, and we got a tough schedule coming ahead of us. So right now, we're in a fortunate situation with the number one pick. Last time we had the number one pick in the draft. We took a Jadeveon Clowney. Before that, we took a Mario Williams. And before that, we took a Derek Carrs. I mean, a David Carrs, not Derek Carr. Same thing. They both trash at the end of the day. David Carr didn't have no talents around him, though, to be fair. But anyways, this is a new series that I'm going to be doing for Salt Sports. Anybody that's willing to join these videos, you feel welcome to join these videos. Feel free to comment below your thoughts, who you thought Wise should have taken this mock draft. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Salt Sports is back. We all here. Shout out to all my brothers in the round table. Shout out to Spitz. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel. You know Spitz is dropping videos weekly. Shout out to my boy Hector. Hector been trying to put y'all on the Astros for years, in the last 7, 8 years now. Shout out to my boy Tin Man, the Toxic Tinny. He got the heat for anybody that's coming with the dramas. Shout out to my boy Ray Rays. Ray Rays, the offensive line experts, also draft expert, and he the one that put us on this mock draft database websites. Shout out to my boy Swisher, Darren Davis. That's my guy. Also, one of my brothers for a long time. Shout out to my boy Wink. Y'all already know Wink. Every time it's breaking news, Wink gonna be hilarious. All the movie analogies. And shout out to my boy Honcho. Last but not least, the boss, the head honchos of Salt Sports. Yeah, he's doing fine. We didn't talk to Honcho. He's gonna be very back soon. So appreciate y'all's support. But let's go ahead and jump in this video. So the first thing I want to talk about is just explaining of what we're gonna do and what's the Houston Texans need right now. Looking at this season and watching how this team has struggled, I'm seeing big needs when it comes to the interior D line. I'm seeing big needs when it comes to the linebackers position. I'm seeing big needs when it comes to a franchise quarterback, and I'm seeing big needs when it comes to interior O line and tight end. So I'm gonna try to address that the best that I can. It's gonna be very tough because we don't know how the draft board is gonna fall. But I see a lot of guys here and there in the media, social medias, whatever you want to call it, talking about, yeah, you don't need to take a quarterback with the number one pick for the Houston Texans. Why not? Why wouldn't you? That doesn't make any sense. You got 2 first-round picks next year where you can address other positions on this team. And you got multiple first-round picks this year and a second-round pick and a third-round picks. You're going to see how many picks that we got. So you can address the needs. We've seen what Nicky Casario can do later in the draft with getting guys like a Damian Pierce, who's became a star, with a Jalen Petries. We've seen what he did with a Kenyon Greens. We've seen what he did with a Tegan Quintarios. We didn't seen what he did with a Roy Lopez and these guys when even he didn't have the draft assets to help him in the draft. So we're gonna see what Wise can do for this Houston Texans team. And shout out to my boy Nicky Casario, one of my favorites, general manager for the Houston Texans thus far. So as you can see, I'm gonna select the favorite team, Houston Texans. I still rock with the Houston Texans, even though we're sorry. We're gonna do the 2023 draft, 7 rounds, and we're gonna do fast speed, and we're gonna enter the draft room. We're not gonna do any trades. We're not trading back with anybody. Yeah, that would be fun, but we'll do that on the next series. But let's go ahead and get it started. You're gonna see a lot of trade offers coming up for that number one pick. Yeah, we're not taking that. We're not taking that. It's going to be a real tough situation, and I know it's a lot of arguments when it comes behind C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. On here, they got C.J. as the number one prospect, and they got Bryce as the number two prospect. To me, Willie Anderson is one of the best prospects in this draft too. So it's a 1A, 1B, 1C. You can't go wrong with any three of those players. But when it comes to Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, I've been watching these guys for multiple weeks. And when it really comes down to it, C.J. Stroud is more of a pocket passer, which is great, and it can work in a traditional offense. However, when he gets pressure in his face, he seems to struggle. Um, and that kind of concerns me. And we've seen with Ohio State quarterbacks in the past, and I know C.J. Stroud is different than previous Ohio State quarterbacks because he has the accuracy, he has the big arm, he can put it there, but he also has Marvin Harrison Jr., he has Mbunko. I mean, he has Ninja Bus, all of these wide receiver talents. He has Stover at tight ends. He has one of the best offensive lines. He has one of the best running games. I mean, he has all the talent around him. In Bryce Young's case, he has Bill O'Brien hindering him. He has not the best talent on that Alabama offense. Since when have we seen an Alabama offense where they don't have a top first round receiver, where they don't have a top first round running backs, when they don't have a top defense out there? And I mean, they've been struggling this year, but they every game has come down to the wire, and Bryce Young has been able to keep that team in the games. And when I'm looking at this guy, he's throwing it in between three or four guys. He's staying composed. He's evading sacks. He's running all over the field and making good throws, resetting his feet, even when he's on the run, which is it's hard to teach that. Yeah, it can be taught, but it takes years and years and years for a player to learn that. And he kind of compares to a similar player we had at the quarterback position without the off the field dramas. Um, and that's going to be like a Deshaun Watson. And I think he's gonna be a good fit for the Houston Texans. Yeah, he's only 6 foot. Yeah, he's only 195. But when you look at all these other quarterbacks, they only like 215. So he's gonna gain another 5-10 pounds. He's gonna build that frame up. We would want him to be a durable quarterback, but you got to put some pieces around Bryce Young. He's played in a pro style offense at Alabama with Bob. We know Bob was our ex head coach, and we don't want nothing to do with Bob. He absolutely ruined this team. But let's go ahead and take him. I'm taking Bryce Young as number one. I don't care what anybody say. And y'all might have y'all difference of opinion. And I won't be mad if we take CJ Stroud. I like CJ Stroud as well, but I mean the recent success that we've seen in the NFL with Alabama quarterbacks, I'm going with him. I feel more comfortable. And his board is already. Oh, Seattle took Brian Breezy. I wanted Brian Breezy. We need Brian Breezy because we need that interior D line. I was just talking about that. Jesus Christ. Uh, see, they always throw one at you. They always throw one at you. And not a board has fell where, okay, Jordan Addison, you get a threat for your young rookie quarterback. We know we need another receiver. Jordan Addison is a real fast guy, kind of on the smaller frame side. You got Bijan Robinson there. We got Damian Pierce, though. I mean, Damian Pierce is going to be our future running back going forward. So, do you really need Bijan this early in the draft? No. If he do fall late in the draft, would you take him? And it's a steal? Yes, possibly. Michael Mayer, tight end, all-time receiving leader at Notre Dame, 6'5", 230. I mean 263. Can block, can make plays. The guy is a star. And we haven't been able to address this tight end position for the Houston Texans for the last decade. Ever since we lost C.J. Fedorowicz. C.J. Fedorowicz was one of our best tight ends, balanced tight ends when it came to blocking and catching the ball. And unfortunately, he had to retire early due to injuries, head injuries, I believe. But, and I mean, you see Isaiah Forsky there, edge defender out of Notre Dame. I mean, you got Keyshawn Butte, wide receiver. You got Tyree Wilson, and you got Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. And I like Trenton Simpson. He makes plays. Don't get me wrong. But how? When you got a rookie quarterback, what do rookie quarterbacks like to have? A tight ends where they can just dip the ball off to, where they can have that safe haven. How can I pass up on a guy like Michael Mayer when we've been needing this position for multiple years? Yeah, I know we need some help on the interior D line. Yeah, I know we need help on the linebacking position, but we can address that later since Brian Breezy got drafted right before us because that's who I was really going to take with that pick. So I'm going to go ahead and take Michael Mayer here with the 13th pick in the draft and pair him up with Bryce Young. Give Bryce Young the talent that he needs. And we're in another really, 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 really interesting situation because I tell you, you can't estimate or guess how this draft board is going to draft. It's going to fall. I mean, now we got Bijan Robinson there at the 32 pick. Brian Branch, a safety out of Alabama. Yes, Alabama secondary has been struggling this season, but he's been the star out of that secondary. He's been making plays on the ball. He's good in coverage. He's good at tackling. He got good form. Noah Sewell out of Oregon. Noah Sewell, he's been struggling this last year, this past season. He hasn't really did anything since his freshman year at Oregon. And I watched him yesterday. He did make some flashy plays, make some plays in the screen when he was playing Washington and things of that sort. And then you got Siaka Ika. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, out of Baylor, but this guy is going to clog up that interior D line. He's gonna absolutely clog up that interior D line. He's gonna help stop that that rushing game that Tennessee's been able to get off against us in the last couple of years since we lost DJ Reader. He's gonna help to be able to aid that rush game that everybody's has put up on us. Like every team has rushed at least 100 yards, 150 yards on the Houston Texans defense. It's not the pass defense this year. It's the interior D line. They just running the ball right up the middle on us all game long, and it's getting frustrating. And then you got Felix Uzomas out of Kansas State. This kid's been balling. He's been making some plays, and and you guys he's I think he was leading the sacks maybe a week ago in college football. So I mean, it's kind of tough to pass up on. Ika's kind of tough to pass on Uzomas. And then you got Osiris Torrance too. I mean, Torrance is a good interior O-line guard that can come in here and fill that need at the right guard position. AJ Cann's been struggling on that right guard position. And just think about it. You'll have Laramie Thompson on the left. You have Kenyon Green on the left. You have Torrance on the right side. And you got Titus Howard at the right tackle. Your O-line will be set for the next 5 years. Yeah, we need to still address that center position, but maybe the Houston Texans can look at that when it comes to the free agency. I know a lot of people are going to give me slack about this, but Bijan Robinson's, it's kind of hard to pass up on Bijan's at pick number 32. I mean, we've seen the things that Bijan can do. We've seen how explosive he can be, but he also has struggled with injuries in his career. So at this point, I'm kind of torn. But I'm tired of seeing teams just run up the middle on us. So I'm taking Ika out of Baylor. I'm taking Ika. And I know people are going to be mad I passed up on Bijan, but it comes to needs. We need to stop that, and we need to stop teams from running the ball against us. It's killing us real bad. They taking up time of possession, and it's hindering our offense as well when you really think about it. Now, we had pick number 64. We already addressed the tight end, like Waz said. We already addressed the quarterback position, like Waz said we needed. We already addressed the interior D line to pair up Ecos with Roy Lopez. Now let's take a look on how the board is falling. So you got Schmitz out of Minnesota, who can play that right guard position for us. You got Zay Flowers out of Boston College, the wide receiver that you can get Bryce Younger talent. You got A.T. Perry. A.T. Perry is a nice receiver as well. And Jack Campbell, Dalton Kincaid at tight end, but we already took a tight end. Really don't need him. It's getting real interesting. And then Devin A. Chain. This kid is a ball out of A&M. We seen what he's done last year, even when they had CJ Spiller out there. He still was making plays when CJ Spiller was there. And we know that the Houston Texans need a third down back to pair up with Dameon Pierce, so we don't have to see a guy like Rex Burkhead coming in on third down in passing situations. But do we really need a running back this early in the draft? Let's take a look at the edge, see who's left on the board. Nobody that I like that I can reach on right here. Let's take a look at linebackers. I do like the Marvin Overshown, but obviously you can get him later in the draft. I do like Ivan Pace Jr. too, but you can get him later in the draft. Interior O-line. This is something we cannot get up later in the draft, and we need to go ahead and address this position. And I'm thinking at this point we go with Schmitz. We gotta go with Schmitz. Go ahead and address that right guard. And Van Pran just went. I wanted Van Pran, but I didn't think teams was gonna automatically just jump on him that early. But when you're looking at this team right now, the way Washington got it constructed, We're addressing a lot of needs. But let's go back to this big board and see who's left. A Chain still on the board. Zion Wilson still there. Zay Flowers still there. A.T. Perry still there. Uh, Tuli Tuipulotos. I have, trust me, Wise has problems. I have a lot of problems pronouncing guys' names, so you gotta forgive me when it comes to that. But we're gonna go. You got Voorhees on the board still. You got Sam Laporta out of Iowa. You got Avialas out of TCU. Ah, man. You got Skinners on the board, but we know we need help on that defensive side of the ball when it comes to linebacker. But right now they're telling me I'm rushing on. I'll be basically uh, reaching on the guys that I really want. And when you look at edge, I really don't see anybody. I like Ali Gay out of LSU. You can wait to get him. The kid has a lot of talent. Uh, I'm torn right here. I'm really torn, and I like Parker Washington out of Penn State too, a raw receiver that can make a lot of plays that a lot of people sleep on. So, do you really reach on receiver right here? Let's go ahead and get that third down back, but I don't. We're going a lot of offensive heavy on the ball. I think we need to balance it out. I really think we do need to balance it out. And I'm really tired of our offense getting killed in the middle of the. We taking Toolies. We taking Toolies. That interior D line been getting killed on the rush game. We're gonna address it. We're gonna get it fixed. We tired of seeing the interior D line getting killed like that. Okay, now let's reevaluate who's left on the board. This is where the draft gets really, really interesting. With pick 103, a lot of guys that fell off the board. A lot of guys that fell off the board. But we know we need to go to that linebacking positions. What? They took Overshown already? You see what I be seeing? Wow. Wow. Okay. Voorhees is still there, which is interesting. Voorhees is still there. We can go ahead and show up that old line. Parker Washington's. I'm going with Parker Washington. We're going to go get Bryce Young a wide receiver. And right now, I didn't hit A's on all my picks except for Thule, but to be honest, we need to address that interior D lines. So I don't care what the draft grades is as of now. And let's go back to the big board with pick 137. I mean, Blake Corum. A lot of people been sleeping on this kid. He lead the nation in touchdown and rushing yards out of Michigan. You compare him up with Dameon Pierce, and it can be real scary here. It can be a real scary offense. It can be a very, very, very scary offense. And I'm telling you. But at the same time, my boy Alligator, it's. I mean, to be honest, do I go Corum? Corum and Dameon Pierce, though. Jesus Christ. That would be nasty. That would be nasty for the Houston Texans. You got Bryce Youngs, you got Michael Mayers, you got your O-line fix, you got your two good running backs. The rush game gonna be nice. You got you another receiver in Parker Washington. You got Mechie coming back. You still gonna trade Brandon Cooks for assets, so we don't know what's gonna happen with that. Possibly trade Brandon Cooks for Jerry Judy's out of Denver's, pair him back up with Bryce Youngs. But and this is another kid that a lot of people are sleeping on at the quarterback position, even though I'm not going to draft him and we don't need him. It's Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. The kid is good. I'm telling you, I watched this kid the last couple of games. He's been making some plays. He go through his progression. He throw a nice ball. He know how to command his offense. He know how to pick up blitzes and things of that sort. So a lot of teams, he might be a sleeper. You might hear his name in the future, Michael Penix Jr. But the kid does have the talent. As of now, though, Wise is going to go with Blake. We're going to go ahead and, and show up that running back position for the next 10 years because we don't know what can happen. We don't know what can happen when it comes to injuries. We do need a third down running back, and we tired of seeing Rex Burkhead get on the field. So we're going to go ahead and show up that running back position with Dameon Pierce going forward. Now, Let's go take a look at the defensive edge position. And my boy is still there. It's not even a no-brainer. It's not even a thought. Second thought, we're going with Ali Gay here to help bring some talent on that edge. Yeah, our edge has been getting there with some of the veterans. When you think of Rasheem Green, uh, when you think of Mario Addisons and guys of that source, but really, it's been that interior D line that's been killing us, and we addressed that with Ika, we addressed that with Tulis, and now we got Ali Gay. That front seven is looking a little bit stronger right now with the talent that we're bringing in, and then we got to see how Jonathan Grenard is going to come back this upcoming season. So you still got him on the opposite side of the field, and you still got the opportunity to add guys when it comes to free agency. The Texans going to have, I think, about 35 to 40 million in cap space, and if we let go of Brandon Cooks, that's going to even open up more cap space. So it's going to be real interesting for the Houston Texans. So right now we at pick number 195. We don't need to go D line. We just went D line. We don't need to really address corner. I mean, we can wait later to address corner in the sixth, seventh round. I mean, this is the seventh round. But I mean, you do got Justin Flo there. Justin Flo is a linebacker that we can add to this team. You got Mike Jones Jr. If you know Houston, Mike Jones is a name in Houston. And the fact that you can add a Mike Jones Jr., man, just think about all the memes. Think about all the choreography that the Houston Texans can do to still tipping on fofos, drink on fofos. Now they trying to buy in. My boy Spit's been telling them that they need the slabs. Been telling them they need to address the Houston culture for years. But let's look at the overall board before we just jump on anybody. You got Jackson Kirkland, offensive tackle. This guy was supposed to go in the first or second round last year, but he had an injury and it kind of pushed him down. So it's interesting to see him here available in the seventh round. You got Eric Gilbert. I have all the disrespect to Eric Gilbert. He left my LSU Tigers. I don't want that guy on my team. He's not loyal. He's another Deshaun Watson. He's ready to leave your team when things go wrong. Why not? Why not get Justin Flo? And I know they got the suggestion, Vontrell Millers. But this is interesting. I see more of Justin Flo than I've seen of Vontrell Millers. Kind of torn. Kind of torn right here, but and then you really can get another talented receiver because we all know that my boy won't be here no more. Damian Pierce. I mean, Brandon Cooks. Damian Pierce will be here for the next 4 or 5 years. Stop that. So some guys that interest me later in the draft is Anaya Smith out of A&M, Tank Dell out of U of H, guys that's not Nathaniel Dell. These guys is not getting recognition. And Tank Dell, I'm telling you, this kid is a baller, but we don't have to take him this early. Let's go ahead and get that linebacker. Let's add to this linebacker's position. And let's go with Justin Flo. All right. And still, how many picks we got left? Let's take a look. We got 202, we got 218, we got 240. Let's go with another linebackers. Why not? Let's keep adding to that linebackers position. And let's go ahead. I do like Bumpers Pools out of Arkansas too. Phenomenal name, by the way. Should we go with Ventrell Miller? Should we go with Mike? We gotta go with Mike Jones Jr. Just because off of the Houston's name, we gotta go. And they gave me a D plus for Mike Jones Jr.'s. Wow. Okay, draft database. Okay, that's probably one of my worst picks, but really, you in the seventh round, you taking chances on guys. And yeah, we could have got Ventrell Millers, but I like Mike Jones Jr. a little bit better personally. I haven't seen too much of Ventrell Miller for me to just take him like that. Now I'm going and look at this cornerback position because I know we got 2 draft picks left, and it's a couple guys that I like late in the draft, especially Stephen Gilmore if he's still here. I'm not seeing Stephen Gilmore. That means somebody took him. Wow, he's not here. Sevyn Banks. Wow, I remember he was supposed to go high in the draft just 2 years ago. I mean, just last year. Let's look at the big board. Eric Gilbert's still there, a trader. We don't want him. Um, Bo Nix, you can bring him as a backup quarterback. Jermaine Burton out of Alabama. I mean, technically you can add more. I mean, Bryce Young do have experience with this guy, and to get him in the seventh round is he ain't the best, but don't get me wrong, he's better than some of the backup receivers that we got on this team currently. And to get a guy like that in the seventh round and pair him with Bryce Young, and they already got that familiar. They're already familiar with each other. I know y'all gonna make fun of wide speech impediments, but it really don't matter us. So I'm gonna take Jermaine Burton right here out of Alabama. They gave me a B for that pick. And you already know I'm going another offensive pick right here. I'm going with my boy Tank Dell because he can play on the special teams, return kicks back, and he's just a special playmaker. Probably he's like the size of Tyreek Hill, and he has the speed, and he's very shifty and can make guys miss. If you haven't seen U of H football games this year, he's the best player on their team, clearly. So, and they gave me an F for that pick. We're gonna take a look at Wise draft. We've seen how the draft board fell. It's not gonna be perfect. This is just the first mock draft I'm doing, and of course, this is before the New York Giants game. So, with the number one pick in the draft, Wise took, and you see the pop-ups coming up, of course. Bryce Young, that addresses the franchise quarterback position. Tight end, Michael Mayer at the 13th pick, that addresses the tight end position. Him and Quentin Terrianos can take over that position for the next 5 to 10 years. Then Wise went ahead and got Ikas to shore up that interior D line to help stop that rush game. All of the rush game that everybody been doing against us and getting 150 yards. I'm tired of seeing it. So we went ahead and got Ika. Yeah, we passed up on Bijan's at the pick 32s. Yes, we did. But we don't need them that early in the draft. Um, Next pick 64, got John Michael Schmitz out of Minnesota. He can go and fill in that right guard position, take over AJ Kim, because we've seen what AJ can and Quesenberry's been struggling on that right side of the O line, that interior O line. That's the only problem really right now. And so, hopefully, by adding a guy like John Michael Schmitz, uh, that can show up the offensive line for the next 4 or 5 years, and maybe we can add another center in free agency. But I think Schmitz can play center and guard, so that can be very interesting for this team as well. Uh, Pick number 74 was to Tua Pelotu. I'm trying to pronounce that the best that I can, so please forgive me for my pronunciation. But this guy with Ika, with Roy Lopez, with Malik Collins, now, and you got Booker. Booker hasn't really looked good. And you got Hennish. Now we're looking at a rotational of D line, interior D line, that can hopefully stop other teams from rushing the ball on us and taking up that time of possession, which has been killing us late in games. Because we've been in every game, but in our secondaries look phenomenal this year. But it's just our linebackers position in our interior D line is just terrible. I don't understand it. Uh, with pick number 103, Wise took Parker Washington, another sleeper receiver out of Penn State. I didn't watch a couple of Penn State games this year, and this kid just comes off the screen. He flies off the screen. He's making big plays for Penn State. Uh, Pick 137, Blake Corum, the running back out of Michigan. Like I said, the kid leads the nation in rushing yards and rushing TDs. The kid's been consistent over the last 2 years. Pair him up with a Dameon Pierce. It's going to be real nasty. We finally get to get rid of Rex Burkhead. Yeah, I like Rex Burkhead, but I don't like him on this team when we're trying to develop and rebuild a squad for the future. At pick 181, Wise took Ali Gay. Ali Gay is out of LSU, edge rusher. He don't get too much credit, but this guy makes plays. He don't get too much credit because, yes, we got a Ujalaris. Yes, we got a Jacqueline Royce. Yes, we got a Simpsons. Not Simpsons at linebacker. I forget the rookie name. We got a freshman linebacker. I forget his name, number 43, but the kid is a monster. So Alligay, he can set the edge. He got long arms. He got the reach. And he can add to that depth of that edge defenders that we need on this team with the rotate opposite from the side of Jonathan Grenard. So that's going to be real interesting. With pick 195, we added Justin Flo. We know we need to address that linebacking position. To me, I think that we're playing Christian Harris out of position. We've been playing him at the outside linebacker position when really he needs to be put at the middle linebacker position. Get rid of Christian Kursky and add Justin Flo at the outside linebacker position. So and then my boy Wallows. I like my boy Wallows. So and people gotta forget, yeah, we got more needs. We need to address defense and this and that. We got 2 first-round picks next year, but now our offense is set. So we can address more of our defensive needs next year. Hopefully, some of the guys we drafted here can come in and impact the defense next year. But defense really hasn't been our problem, other than the rush defense. Then we add Mike Jones Jr. You know why we added Mike Jones Jr. Come on now. You know why we added Mike Jones Jr. It's Houston. And then with pick 218, we took Jermaine Burton. We got Bryce Young with a familiar face, a receiver that he's comfortable with from this past season. And Burton is one of the best. I think he is the best receiver for Alabama at this point right now. And to get him in the 7th round is kind of a steal. And with the last pick of the draft, we took Nathaniel Dell, Tank Dell, the best receiver, the best player at U of H, the shiftiest receiver in the college right now. This guy is a playmaker. He's slept on. If he's fallen to the 7th round and your favorite team gets him, it's going to be a steal. But like I said, this is going to be the first video. It was no trades. We seen how the board fell. It's very interesting. We're going to do a video every week. It's going to be a new series for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know we're going to have our disagreements. I know y'all going to have your thoughts, but go ahead and get in the comments. Tell me who I should have drafted instead of the guy that I took. Put the number and say, hey, Wise, why you didn't take Bijan's? I know y'all going to be hating in the comments. Go ahead and do it. But to be honest, I love all y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and support Soft Sports. Yeah, Honcho's doing all right. My boy been doing fine. He's going to be back shortly, so... thank y'all for tuning in. I'm out.